Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back, of course, to the Time Bomb channel. Good to have you on board. Thanks for your time and for your view, as always. We're going back to our Asian cousins today with Pagani Design. It's been a while since we've had one on the channel, and that's down to nothing other than my sour grapes. I had a Guanxin, a blue Guanxin Longines homage on the channel. Must have been over a year ago, and I didn't like it, so sent it back, and it took me two and a half months to get my money back, and in the end I didn't even get all of my money back on the watch, basically. So I got the hump and decided I wasn't ordering from AliExpress anymore. However, I did have a couple of requests come through from viewers, sort of suggesting, can we see some of their more recent designs? So this one came up in the sale. So plump for it. Let's have a look and see what we think of the watch today. So let me just flip the camera. All right, guys. So here we are then with our Pagani. As I say, this one, the 1681 from Pagas. And when I first popped the box, I have to say that I was pretty impressed with the overall design. I think it's probably fair to say that they may have had these two particular watch designs in mind when they created this one. I'm not going to say that it's a homage, as I think in this case that's inaccurate, but as you can see, it's very, very close in design and styling. Also, for your reference then, these come in a couple of other colorways. There's this Killer Bee in yellow and a black. And then, of course, the more blue-black here, just for a little contrast. Okay, but I plumped for this particular all-black version, as I thought that the colours matched up better on the dial and the design. Well, they certainly did do in the picture. But if we look again at the picture on the website, that picture to me shows that it's more of a greeny loom base colour on that painted on here. But unless I'm developing a mild case of achromatopsia, that to me looks much more like a custard yellow or even a sand. But yeah, in this light, in the daylight, certainly not on the video, it comes across, as I say, being a real custardy colour. Yeah, exactly. Says to me, yeah, more custard dribble than green loom stomp ball. But yeah, again, let's get back to something slightly less subjective. The key specs on this one then are it's quite an ample piece at 46 mils across. It's then 13.8 mils in depth, and our luggage here is a very good, very healthy 22 mils. I think obviously, yeah, with the width of the head of the watch, then anything smaller, if they'd put a 20 here, it really wouldn't have worked at all. The other thing to notice is when I took it out of the boxes is how weighty it is. It could be because the strap is so light on this. I mean, it really is very, very soft and light. It does mean that all of that weight goes into the head. It comes in at, I weighed it today at 138 grams. I mean, so not a huge or unduly heavy, but you'll certainly feel that weight spread because of the lightness of the strap. Personally, I do like weightier watches, specifically on designs such as these. So for me, really, really good, but I'm just flagging it up for you guys in case that's a concern. As we can see on the dial then, we have 100 meters worth of watery goodness, and of course sapphire up top. And the eagle-eyed amongst you will have automatically noticed, yeah, I don't think there's any AR coating under that sapphire because it just picks up absolutely everything. I mean, yeah, you can just see the window reflection in here. I mean, just, yeah, it's. I took it outside earlier as well just to try and get some outside shots for you here. And again, it really, really, really does pick up everything. However, so just open that up there. We can see the case body a little bit better. It's got a very, very, very positive indeed application of DLC coating. And I have to say that I think it's done very, 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 very deeply, and it's also sprayed on there particularly well. Very, very even. Very, very smooth. I can't find any blemishes at all anywhere on the watch. I have to say, absolutely top marks for the finishing on that. Wasn't the same thing to be said of some of the steely versions that I've had of theirs. You can see on the sides here, you know, that the brushing was uneven, imbalanced, etc. But it's really not the case here at all in that black. However, I think if we look a little bit closer, we might be able to see some evidence of part swapping and yeah, a little bit heavy-handedness maybe on that spraying, because as you can see on the back here, it's sprayed on so thickly that it actually feels the paint there. That TLC has covered up all of the grooves or the engraving on there, and I think, yeah, if either, you know, cut them a little bit deeper or put a little bit of spray on. You can also then see on the bezel that those markings, excuse me, the focus going, the markings there as well, again, really quite full, filled up with that DLC. So again, maybe just cut them a fraction deeper. But I suppose the other advantage then is it's quite smooth, you know, they don't stand out too much, and it sort of adds to that more matty appearance of the watch. Further on the bezel then, okay, as a confessed watch nutter, I think one of the first things that I do when I take a watch out of the box is not even look at it, but give the watch a good bezeling. And here we go. Yes. So it kind of reminds me a little bit of the bezel action on the Ecozilla. However, on the Ecozilla, that clunky and unrefined sort of movement, I think, works here. I would have expected a little more clicking and a lot less clacking. It really isn't great. And then the worst crime of all, get it back up to the top, is that it doesn't align at all in any position. And if we look again closer, you can see the back play is sloppier than a sloppy thing, and it's the same everywhere around the bezel. It's just almost 2 clicks loose. Really poor. Yeah, they just lose out massively on that, I'm afraid. The colour. Yeah, again, as I said, I keep referencing custard, but when I took it out of the box, I was just like, that loom pip up the top there just looked wrong. I showed it to the wife, and she said that the color combo actually works for her. For me personally, if it had been more of a real sand color with the black, I think it would have matched better. Well, certainly again, just to my eyes. I think if we get closer onto the dial, I think, whilst the hands themselves are quite slim, I don't think it detracts from legibility at all, except outside and when you get the light on. As I say, because there's no AR on the bottom of that, the legibility does become a little bit of an issue. However, on the upside, the things that I do like, I love the little splashes of red around the hour markers, and I really do like the pointer on the end of that seconds hand. I mean, it's super clear, very legible, and yeah, that to me works very well. The strappage, as I referenced before, seems to be quite good. It's very light. Lots of, you got some venting in there as well. It's quite smooth. It doesn't attract lint or anything like that because it's a smoother surface. Yeah, so that I imagine would be really quite comfortable. There's a little bit of wiggle, but I don't think that's an issue. I think it should be slightly loose. It shouldn't be fixed entirely because that might, sort of make it more rigid, which you don't need in case you knock the watch. Yeah, talking of bezel action, I mean, I'm rocking the Heimdallr here. I mean, the bezel action on that, by contrast, I'll shut up. So much more refined. It really is. So yeah, it shows that our Chinese cousins can do this if they want to. This sounds to me more like my baby farting, and she's only 4 months old. But anyway, let's get the watch on wrist. I think give the watch a good wristing. I really like it on wrist, I have to say. I think visually it works really very well. Nice matte. I think that matte stuff on there, brilliant. Really does look very good, and that's the reason I plumped for this particular version in the first place. I think it sits very well on wrist. I think it's exactly the same size case body as most of their other watches, so it works very well. You've got quite a long strap here, And just in case you need reminding of which particular watch brand you are wearing, you'll notice that you've got 1, 2, 3 aspects of branding there on the keepers and the buckle. So yeah, again, of course, this isn't the shopping channel, so I'm not going to be sharing with you any AliExpress links to earn some commission. This is just purely my subjective, not objective, subjective opinion about the watch. I think that the matte black, and I think there's so many things about the watch work very, very well. However, they kind of lose out to the larger key issues around the QC. So that bezel action is pants. The alignment is pants, and that wobble, that looseness on there, I just think is really, really, really poor. And as I say, to me, that custard drop at the top, it just stands out just a little bit too much. I could have made it a little bit subtler. But oddly, so I missed this one out, sorry, is that loom does quite belie that custard hue a little bit, because if you look at the loom, it's really very, very evenly pasted, and it glows very, very positively indeed. So again, I think that from thinking back to my previous Paganis that I've had on the channel, is like the loom hasn't been balanced on most of the markers, but I think on this one, I think they've certainly improved that aspect of the watch. But over to you guys. What do you think? If you own one of these already, you love it or loathe it, please do drop us a comment down below. It'd be great to hear your thoughts. Quite interesting to get the brand back on channel again. I do confess, though, I think I'll be passing this on to a couple of other reviewers to have a look at, and then probably bunging it up on Fleabay. As I say, there's just too many aspects on this watch to me that mean that it's not a keeper. Anyway, thanks as always for your time and for your view, guys. I really do appreciate it. And of course, until the next video, this is your host, the Bombardier, signing off. Cheers, guys.